welcome or welcome back. My name is Gina. This is my little corner of YouTube where I share with you about all of my knitting adventures. So it has been about a week since I last recorded, and so today is July 21st. I don't know when I will get this video posted, but what I have for you today is a big finished object back behind me, and a little bit of castonitis that happened in the last week after I finished the Zephyr Tee, which I talked about in my last video. So let's jump on in. Yeah, so the main feature today is my Stars Hollow pullover. Oh, it looks so good. I'll pull it up a little bit closer. And I'll have pictures that I'll put up of me modeling it and showing the details a little bit better. But it has a big, deep folded collar, a huge feature. Oh, how about focus on that? Yeah, a huge feature cable. Let's just cover my face up and see if it will get it. That goes all the way down, and then a 1x1. I don't think this is twisted rib. I think this is just a 1x1 ribbed hem, which I was sitting here going, wait, is that twisted? It looks really tight. And then I remembered that I tried this time the little trick. Let's see if I can get it to focus. The little trick where you turn you knit inside out. You do a little short row and then knit inside out. And if you, like many people like me, your ribbing looks better on the inside than on the outside, because I think it's your purl stitches are tighter, like they look better on that side. On the wrong side, that will put your good side of the ribbing on the outside. So I did that and it worked really well. It looks nice and neat. The back is just like the front, except that there's a little bit more, the cable starts higher because there are short rows worked to raise the back neckline. And yeah, so there she is, finished at last. Oh, I'm looking at it in my camera and it looks so good. Okay, yeah, so this is the Stars Hollow pullover, which is a pattern by Sari Nordlund, the cable queen. I guess she's also kind of the lace queen. I don't know, maybe she's just the queen of everything. Yeah, I really like Sari Nordlund's patterns. This one was released last fall, or maybe it came out in the winter. It's a pretty recent release, and I think I looked just before as I was working on my notes. I think there are only about 47 projects maybe of this on Ravelry, so it's not been a super popular pattern, but I just think it's so pretty. I love the giant cabling down the front. As soon as she released it, I was like, oh, I've got to do that one. Also, maybe slightly influenced because my husband and I were rewatching Gilmore Girls at the time that this came out, so that seemed really perfect. Okay, so about this pattern, it is, there are 9 sizes of it. It goes from a 37.5 inch bust up to a 69 inch bust. It calls for 8 inches of positive ease. I made the size 3, which is 45.25 inches. And my upper bust is 40 inches. So that was positive ease of 5.25 inches for me. My full bust is a 46. So there's actually a little bit of negative ease through the full bust. There should be. And yeah, I'm happy with with the amount of ease I have, I think that there's plenty. I'll show you, you'll see the pictures up here, but it is very large and oversized, even doing a little bit less than the recommended positive ease. As a busty hourglass shaped person, I do not really like the way a ton of positive ease looks on me. It just tints out and makes me look a lot larger than I really am. So I tend to go for less positive ease when a lot of positive ease is called for. Okay, the yarn that I used for this was Knitpicks Bare Andes del Campo, which was it's discontinued, sadly, because I really liked this yarn. It was, let's see, it's 100% wool. It was very rustic feeling. I would say it softened up quite a bit. It definitely has a different texture than wool of the Andes. Like they're named different things and they're not the same. They don't feel the same. I would say wool of the Andes maybe feels a little bit softer in the hank or in the ball than the Andes del Campo did. But yeah, it felt fairly rustic as I was working with it, but once I washed it, I feel like really opened up with blocking. It's much more relaxed and I feel like it's softer. So I did wear it next to skin to take photographs in the 97-degree heat. So I definitely don't recommend that. I would never wear it that way, outside of wearing it for pictures, because I can't wait until the weather cools off enough to get some modeled pictures of this. But yeah, I would never wear it that way, but I was able to stand it for, I don't know, probably at least 10 minutes that I spent wearing it, taking pictures in that heat, and it really wasn't destroying me. Maybe that's because it's quite loose and oversized, so it wasn't, clinging. If it was like all on me, that probably would have been better. Would have been worse. I would say I probably wouldn't be tempted to wear this without something under it when it's actually in use. Like it's soft enough. I think you could if you wanted to, but I probably wouldn't. I would probably wear something under it. So yeah, but Andes del Campo, 100% wool. It is an Aran weight, and it is definitely that. It was quite large to work with. I don't even usually work with a lot of worsted, so going up in size was an interesting experience. I always remember why I don't really like working with larger weight yarn. So I got this Andes del Campo for $2 a ball back during Knitpicks' summer sale from 2024. As of July 21st, their summer sale is still going on. So I actually started this in preparation for the summer sale and have finished it before the next summer sale. So for me, that's pretty good, actually, getting this yarn in my stash and out within a year. That's pretty good, since I did not have a project in mind for this when I bought it. I just snagged it because it was $2 a ball. That's a great deal. So like this whole sweater only cost me $14 if you just count the amount of yarn that I use. So I have I bought 10 balls of this, and I used 7 in the sweater. So I've got a little bit left, but even if you just counted the entire price that I paid for that yarn, which was $20, like that's still a steal of a deal. The pattern cost $10.82 USD today. I don't think it was that much when I bought it. Like I said, I bought it as soon as it released, so I might have gotten it on discount, or maybe Sari has raised her prices a little bit. But yeah, $10.82 and $14 was, my cost of the yarn that's actually in it. So a $25 100% wool, heavily cabled sweater. I think that is, you can't beat that. Can't get any better than that. So the construction on this is your typical drop shoulder construction. You start in the back, you work some short rows to raise the back neckline, you do increases for your sleeves. And once you've gotten the back worked down to, I guess about here, the bottom of the sleeve area, where your sleeves are gonna go, then you pick up stitches along the shoulder line and knit down one side, and then you do the same thing for the other side. And then when you get these to the bottom of the collar, you join them, and then you knit down to the bottom, where the bottom of the sleeves are gonna be. And then you join in the round and knit down. I put my collar on after I got my yoke done, before I joined in the round, because I wanted to check my yoke depth before I joined those in the round and couldn't add to that easily. So I did my collar early, and then I also, once I ran out of a ball of yarn after joining in the round, then I went ahead and put on my sleeves, again, just so I could get a better sense of how the whole thing would hang, before I decided how long to knit the body. Because once you add the collar and the sleeves, it does change, you know, how things fit. And I have definitely had instances where my body was not the length that I expected it to be once I had added those other pieces that like pulled up the body a little bit. So yeah, so I like to do all of those things first before binding off, or thinking I'm done on the body, because I hate unpicking and adding something, making changes once I think I've finished. Once I think I have finished a project, I am just on to the next thing. I hate going back and fixing anything. So yeah, so that's the construction on this guy. Let's see. My only modification was, I mean, other than changing the order I did things in, was adding a little bit of yoke depth to this, and I really just based that on holding the piece up to me and then deciding that I wanted to make it a little bit longer. I often have to lengthen my yokes a little bit. I don't know if that's like my shoulders or if it's my larger bust for my frame or what it is that causes that, but like that's a pretty typical modification. And I was actually on vacation when I was knitting the back of this and made that decision to increase to increase the yoke depth, and didn't have measuring tape or anything. So it was really just like holding it up and vibes. Did I feel like it was long enough? So yeah, so I changed that. And once you do it on the back, you do the same thing, you know, make the same modification on the front. Let's see, the cabling on this is pretty intense. I would not say, this probably wouldn't be a good first cable pattern for anyone to do. I did use a Knit Companion for the center chart. Fortunately, all it is, aside from the main cable pattern, is double moss stitch, and so like that doesn't have to be charted, and so the whole chart pattern does fit on one landscaped page, which is really nice, because I hate when you have to have like multiple pages taped together, or if you're doing it in Knit Companion, you have to merge charts and it's like super long and you have to scroll every single time you complete one line. Anyway, that drives me crazy. But this one fits really well, and so that was really nice. But yeah, it is all over texture, not for the faint of heart for sure. The front and the back are exactly the same, so that was nice. You didn't have like a front chart and a back chart once you got past the initial top. So Yeah, so since I was using Knit Companion, I actually like noticed on it that it told me how many rows I had worked in the cable chart portion, and so I thought that was really interesting. I knit 153 rounds of the chart, and that was once all of the sort of shoulder shaping and stuff was done, so it's like somewhere down in this area. I worked 153 rounds from that point, and I timed myself in one plain round. Once I was joined in the round, one of the sort of rest rounds where you're not working any cables, it's just knits and purls. One plain round took me 8.5 minutes. So doing the math on that, that's over 21 hours just sort of from here down, and that's just on the body. That doesn't include the sleeves or anything like that. So I'm guesstimating that this is probably, it's safe to say that this probably took over 40 hours total for me to knit, because I didn't, like I said, I didn't time the cabled rounds. I only timed the faster rounds. I actually timed myself because I felt like the ribbing was taking just forever, the 1x1 rib, and one hem rib took me 11 minutes, one round of hem ribbing. So yeah, it was, like I said, 40 hours, I figured total easily. Like I said, the yarn blocked out just beautifully. My only concern is I'm hoping that it doesn't, because this is really heavy, I'm hoping that it doesn't sag over time, these shoulders. And I wonder if there's a way to reinforce that at all. And honestly, the shoulders, I think, are one of the least attractive aspects of this. I am not in love with that line. I really like I guess I've gotten addicted to the, what do they call it? The European shoulder construction, where you get the like really nice, pretty raised increase line, and you definitely don't have that on this. And I think it would look really pretty with one of those. But yeah, so if you have any thoughts about that, like whether I should reinforce it, and if so, how, please leave me a comment and let me know. Anything else? I would definitely recommend both this yarn if you can get a hold of any, since it is discontinued, and also the pattern. It was fantastic. I did not notice any errors at all in it. I felt like everything was super well explained. And also the cables are color coded. So I don't know if Sari's always done that or if that's a newer thing. But I noticed that in the Ebba vest as well, that she had color coded those, and I love that because I color code mine anyway. So I, really appreciate that piece of work already being done for me. Okay. On to whips. So I have fewer whips, I guess, than maybe normal, or fewer that I'm going to talk about. One of those is the Umbria Summer Top. So I showed this on the last video. I'm not going to show it again because I have not done anything since the last time I filmed. So no progress on the Umbria Summer Top by Cookie the Knitter. Hopefully someday, hopefully it'll be done before it is too cold to wear that one. That's a long time from now. So hopefully it will be. Okay. But I did cast on July 17th, the EnolaV, which is a pattern. I'll put it up here since you don't have enough to be able to tell anything about what it looks like from my little bit. But this is a pattern by Jennifer Shiels Toland, or JST Knits. And I cast this one on just right after my last video. I am making the size 4, which is 43 inches. This, I'm using, Holst Garn, Coast. So back when I knit my Iris sweater, which uses Holst Super Soft, I had just heard about Holst coast and had been looking at it and decided, well, I'm not gonna I don't want to pay shipping for just that. But when I ordered the super soft, I was like, oh, you know what? Since I'm ordering the super soft, I'm going to go ahead and get some of that coast and it can hop along for the ride. The coast is the super soft is as well, but they're all very affordable yarns. And I haven't really seen a 50-50 wool cotton blend, which is what the coast is, in fingering. At least not any that is super affordable. So I was really excited to try this out. I'm excited to see how it wears. Yeah, so it's still TBD at this point. Let me just pull it out so you can see. Here's my little, the Holst yarn comes with these little, I can't remember what these are called. Should know back from my scrapbooking days, but the see-through kind of transparent wrappers. And this color is Wisteria. And like I said, it's not 50-50. It is 55% wool, 45% cotton. And it comes in 50-gram balls with 383 yards. So actually, I guess that's a really light fingering, isn't it? Maybe, is that even lace? I'm not sure, because I know sock weight yarn is usually 400 and some, but that's for 100 grams. So this is really light. Well, that might explain why I'm getting such a transparent fabric. I might have to rethink now that I know. Looked at the yardage on this. Okay, yeah, so this is a top that you start with. This is gonna be the back panel, so it's gonna go like that, but I'll show it to you in the front. It's this little, it starts with this ribbed panel, and that is going to be the shoulders. Goodness. That will go over the shoulders, and this is the back that I'm working right now. There were some short rows to raise that up, and then I haven't gotten that far in the pattern, but I think what will happen is I'll come and pick up stitches along here and cast on for the front and knit down. And so it's a drop sleeve construction, but there are I don't think there are additional sleeves aside from this. So yeah, just a sweet little V-neck top, which I may have to rethink now that I know that's such a very, very light fingering. Like I said, that explains why, because I was like, why is it so transparent? If this is a fingering weight yarn. So yeah, I'm just thinking I don't have enough yarn to hold it double, which would be the obvious thing to do. If I did that, I would run out of yarn. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Maybe I'll just have an extremely transparent top, which I'm not into, because that means then you have to wear something under it. And the whole point of doing a summer fabric is so that I can wear top without wearing something under it. Anyway, okay, so yeah, this pattern goes from a 34-inch bust up to a 62.25-inch bust, so 62.25, and it calls for 1 to 3 inches of positive ease. I am working the size 4, which would give me 3 inches of positive ease over my upper bust. So if you're new here, my upper bust is 40 inches and my full bust is 46 inches. So I definitely find that it works better for me to use my upper bust measurement to choose sizes. And yeah, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning last week and made the mistake of opening my iPad and scrolling a little bit, and was just overwhelmed by all of the terrible news. And you know, just felt sick and I couldn't go back to sleep. And I was just, you know, I started anxiety spiraling. And so I decided, you know what, it's in the middle of the night, but I'm just going to go ahead and get up and knit. And so I went in and cast this on. And so, yeah, and did all of the top portion, you know, the setup and all of the little twisted rib. That's the shoulder panel. And basically got all of that done and onto the boring, just stockinette section before anybody in my family had gotten up that day. And yeah, this is why I love knitting, because, you know, once I got up and started doing that, I had to focus on the knitting, and I couldn't, you know, it slowed my brain down, and those bad things are still happening. There's a lot of things happening that are outside of my control or any of our control. And it doesn't do me any good to just sit there and fret and worry about that. And knitting gives me a way to stop that, so that I do not descend into an anxiety spiral, because we've got several more years of this to get through. And yeah, so I'm really, really grateful for knitting, and that it gives me the ability to silence that anxiety a little bit, because I just can't think about that while I'm focusing on, you know, following the directions. And you also get a beautiful finished object at the end of it. So yeah, thank goodness for knitting. Don't know how I would have made it through the last decade and a half without it. Well, decade. I have not been knitting for 15 years. So yeah, let's see. So I am finding that yarn, the Coast yarn, a little bit hard to handle on the needles. I'm using, I think, the recommended size of needles that was giving me the gauge. But yeah, now that I look at the actual like yardage and that explains a lot about why it's so transparent and why I'm having a hard time handling my needles. I probably need to block that and see how things change. I did a little teeny swatch, which is how I know I got the, you know, what needle size to use. And I did wash it, but I need to wash it again, or wash this larger swatch and see if it fluffs up any. The super soft certainly fluffs up a ton. But I didn't see as much change in the Coast yarn on my little swatch that I made. So I may try that again. I probably need to do that before I go any further, because there really is no point in making a transparent full tee. I don't think I want to do that. So need to try that. Okay. And then my next my next work in progress is the Darius cardigan. This is a pattern by Jennifer Owens. Who has, like, she's a new to me designer. I don't know that I had ever seen anything by her before, but when I was researching her on Ravelry, she has, let's see what I wrote down, 128 designs on Ravelry. It looks like she's published in a lot of like knitting magazines like Interweave and Vogue. She even has a nitty pattern that looked really cute. So yeah, she's been working away, but I have just never come across any of her patterns, but I am testing this. So in my last video, I talked about that I think I pinpointed that I always end up doing signing up for test when I have just finished a big project and I'm in between projects and kind of like have this space to fill. And I was so proud of myself for this, you know, wonderful insight that I had, that I sign up for those tests because I don't want to have to make a decision. And if I test, it's already like the decision is made for me. And yeah, like I said, so proud of myself. And then I literally like went out the next day and signed up for a test. But I had actually, so I signed up for this test the same day that I started my EnolaV. So I had actually cast something on. I did make a decision on my own. But yeah, I was just like scrolling, I think Instagram, and I saw an advertisement for, test knitters wanted for something on Yarn Pond. And so I was like, oh, that looks interesting, and went over and opened Yarn Pond, which I haven't been on in months. And that one that I followed over to Yarn Pond, it was that test call was actually closed. But while I was there, I saw the Darius cardigan, which had just been posted, and it's so pretty. So I'll have put up a picture over here, but it is another cabled project. So this one's a cardigan, and I love a grandpa style cardigan. I don't think I've made any for myself that are in the style, but I had one that I really liked and wore a lot that was store-bought. And that one has gotten too small for me. So I really do need another one. And I saw that this called for sport weight yarn, and I had the most beautiful, perfect yarn. Let's see. Which is Knit Picks High Desert. This is the sport weight in Woodsmoke Heather. So this is one of the old tags. They've recently updated this, so I'm sure it will look different now. This is a 100% American wool. It does not go into specifics here, but I know that this has Shanico wool in it, which I think is the wool that I really like. This yarn just has such a different texture than any yarn I've worked with, and I absolutely love the hand feel of this. It is by far my favorite yarn to work with. It's so soft and squishy. It does not feel like merino, and it's not superwash, so it doesn't feel drapey and soft in that superwash merino-y way, but it is so soft. It is next to skin soft. I have no problem wearing my garments made out of this right on my skin, and I just think it's so beautiful. Like, I mean, I was just enjoying working with it, thinking what a joy and a pleasure it was. But here is where I am so far. So you start with the neck ribbing, you cast that on, and then you make your back panel. And this is just as far as I've gotten. This is not complete yet. I have about another 1.5 inches, I think, to work down here on this, but I think it's looking really good. So like I said, this is a grandpa style cardigan. It is, did I write down how many sizes? It is size inclusive. I didn't write down all of the sizing on it. I'm working the size 5, which is a 46-inch full bust, and it's recommended 4 to 12 inches. So I'll be at 6 inches of positive ease, 4 to 12 inches of positive ease. I'll be at 6, so I am within that. Yeah, and it's so far, no worries. The pattern is very intense. There are lots of different cables going on. So, you've got a side cable over here, you've got the main cable in the middle, and there are twisted stitches in the cable pattern. And then you've got another one over here, and then you've got like these rows of, I don't know if this is showing up, twisted stitches. Several sets of those. So I'm going to be an absolute pro at doing twisted stitches, the little, the cheaty way where you just sort of knit one, then knit the other one, and they crisscross when you pull them off your needles. Yeah, there's lots and lots going on. So I am having to sit with my chart. I have to be, I have to have my iPad up reading the chart every single row, even on the backside, because there's not cables worked on the backside, but there are twisted stitches, and so you have to be paying attention to know when to do the twisted stitches, because they are not all twisted, it's just some of them, which just makes it a little bit trickier. And yeah, there's just a lot going on. So no resting, but if you're wanting to occupy your mind, then this is a great one, because you will not be able to think about the dumpster fire around you if you are working on this, because there's just too much to pay attention to. Yeah, and this one is another drop shoulder pattern, which if you've watched me before, I'm not a big fan of how drop shoulders look on me, but I decided I didn't care. I liked this well enough, and I can just envision what a cozy sweater it's going to be. So I've made my peace with that. Okay, and finally, I want to ask your opinion on what I should enter into the fair. I'm thinking about entering, I have actually opened the fair books and looked through them, but what I should enter into we have a county fair that I can enter, and then also the state fair. And I forgot to bring my potentials out with me, so I will, pause this and pop back with those in hand. Okay, I am back with sweaters in hand. So there are two fairs in question here. One is my county fair, which I can enter 2 items per category in. And then there's the state fair where I can enter 1 item per category. And I can enter both of them, but I can't enter the same items in both because the fairs overlap. So wouldn't be able to get them there in time. So I would love your input on what do you think looks the most impressive to somebody who would be judging this. I'm guessing for the state fair, at least, they will definitely have actual knitters who will know what they're looking for and not just be impressed by the visuals, but we'll be looking at the handiwork on it. For my county fair, I don't know, because knitting is not super common where I live. So I don't know if it will just be, I don't know how expert the judges will be there. But in any case, my opinion is that cables and lace always look the most impressive probably to anybody, but especially to people who don't know how they're made. Anyway, so cables, since I don't have that much lace, cables seem like the way to go. And so I'm considering this one, my newest make, the Stars Hollow pullover with this big cabling. And I have not gone over this with a fine-tooth comb, but I did not see where I had any miscrossed cables or anything that I didn't fix. So I think that it looks pretty good. The only part that I do not love is the shoulder seam, which I was talking about before. And I'm not really sure that's so much me as the, it's just the way it's constructed. But yeah, so that's one contender. And then I was also thinking of my Low Tide by Rachel Ilsley. This has got the beautiful lace down both sleeves and the front and the back. And I think it looks fairly impressive. Yeah, to a knitter or a non-knitter. So that's a possibility. And then the other big one that I was thinking about was my Iris sweater. Because yeah, this is one of the ones that I am most proud of all of my makes, just because of the techniques used. It has this really interesting shoulder. It's got the steeking for the arms and the neck, and just the color work is gorgeous. I don't know if it's as impressive to non-knitters, or I don't know that it's impressive to knitters. I know that knitters have really liked this pattern. So yeah, so that one's a possibility. And then I also was like, well, if I'm just thinking about what impressive looking ones I've made, my 3-season pullover, I think also looks nice. This one's got a beautiful cable, And then also lace, this is the back, lace on the sleeves and the side. So it's not hard lace, but there is lace. So it's got both going on. So that's an option as well. And then there's also my Arctic Light. Which, being this deep red, may not show up well enough. I don't know. And this one, I feel like this pattern has issues. And my version of this has fit issues, but it won't be modeled on me when it's at the fair. It will just be, hanging there. So, and it has lots of different, lots of different cabling on it. So there's a lot going on in this. Yeah, so what are your thoughts? This would be for the main sweater category. I think both of them have like a separate category for cardigans, which I don't have many cardigans that I have made within the time frame. So I will probably enter what I have, but like there's not enough that I need input, but I have enough of these sweaters that, yeah, I do have to kind of try to figure out which ones do I want to enter. What do you think has the best chance of winning? And I suppose I want my nicest work to go to the state fair. So which one would you enter for the state fair? And then which two should I do for the county fair? I would love, love, love to get your input. If you would leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. Okay, I think that is all I have for today. Yeah, we're getting to the end of our summer break, so I will not be knitting as much before very long, and I will certainly not be able to record videos and upload those even when I am still knitting. So sad that my summer is dwindling away, but I am kind of getting a little bit excited about thinking about my classes and what we're going to be doing in the fall. So I guess that means I've had a good break, in that I have gotten enough space to be able to be happy about going back to work. But I hope that you are enjoying your knitting and enjoying the summer. It is heating up where I am, so if it is where you are as well, I hope you're able to get some cool air to enjoy while you are working on those knits. I'll see you next time. Bye.